if you're too lazy or just don't go to the gym even if you want to, here's some motivation to actually do it. When you go to the gym, you're going to get stronger, and as a result, your bones are also going to get stronger because of the additional force from the muscle and the load from whatever weights you're using. Well, this means that if you exercise, instead of going through daily life normally, your bones will be more dense than usual, which will be beneficial when you hit your middle ages, and your bones will be less dense, and there be nothing you can do about it, except for maybe some gene alteration. But even if the gene alteration were somehow inexpensive or at a price you could afford, to have it done, the price that someone would charge for it to be done would almost certainly be a lot more than it costs to actually do it. Because it's gene alteration. But let's be honest, who's gonna have the money for that besides the rich people? If they go through the gene alteration, when the effects of their self-preservation instincts combined with the gene alteration that allows them to survive past that by something going on with their cells, they may or may not go through the process that is what causes immortality to be an absolute curse, more so than it is a blessing. There would be nothing to do, they would be extremely bored, and they would want to die. They would be searching for a way to die, except they're immortal. But in the case of these rich people, they've gotten so much gene alteration that dying would be difficult. Or they'd either be doing suicide or trying to do stuff that would get them killed. But because they're still human, their self-preservation kicks in. And so, they kinda don't. Until they are so motivated and so depressed that they do it. But would they even succeed? That depends on how they do it and what person it was that did it. How it was done and who did it. But if you go to the gym, you've got bigger muscles. I'm sure you're aware with that, but aware with the benefits of that. But you may not be aware of the benefit of how your muscles are one of the things that your body will cannibalize when there's no food available. And in the near future, there's plenty of things that could cause an inavailability of food. Or you just not being able to acquire food. You could lose a job. The animals could die. Or you could simply be homeless. Or inflation happens and meat becomes more rare, which causes the inflation. And then you are stuck not being able to afford it. Or anything else in general that you can eat that is nutritious. And also if you get kidnapped or lost somewhere, you may not get a next meal until you're either saved from the kidnapper or escape from the kidnapper, or if you're lost somewhere, you either get a foothold there or you become unlost. And by stretching, your tendons will adapt to the mobility caused by that, which is more that your body can break down. For nutrients, if you are kidnapped or lost, out of a job, homeless, or just plain can't afford it because climate change killed so many of the animals, and inflation did what inflation does. Yeah. But it's not like the stuff in your tendons will even amount to much nutrition. I'm not even sure that the tendons can be used anywhere but the tendons. And you could just not move to be very flexible, and that solves the issue of the tendons. But go to the gym, because when your bone density ceases to maintain itself, and you're in your 70s, you can still run, and you can still do things like, let's see, go climbing, live life to the fullest, exercise, survive getting jumped by someone in a bad neighborhood that's poverty-stricken because of inflation due to climate change in less than 11 years from now? Or not break your bones when you fall? And more muscle is more muscle. Even if you don't need to use the strength, if you, say, inadvertently hit something when you're walking around the house at 3 a.m. and tired, there's more chance it'll hit an area padded with muscle. And you won't be in pain. And also, if you eat up, you've got body fat. That's more energy that you can use when you're homeless, or you can't afford food because the climate change killed the animals and made Earth uninhabitable, and you're barely surviving on Earth with the 10 face masks that you've put over your face to avoid dying from inhaling toxic stuff in the atmosphere. That's caused by the pollution and overconsumption of humans that could have been averted, and we wanted to do, but just didn't, because at the same time we simultaneously collectively did, and collectively did not want to do that. We humans seem to just want change to happen, but yet not really do much about the change, except mention how we want change a few times. Maybe even list a few things to do. That's a surprising amount of people. How do species like that manage to be responsible for the extinction of more animals than any other creature, and also get so advanced that they are on course to destroy this planet's ability to be inhabited? And there's water on Mars. Maybe, just maybe, we lived on Mars, or some ancestors of ours lived there. But the planet was screwed up so much, so badly, that they sent a pod with a couple of our very, very distant ancestors, or a couple pods. Maybe just one pod. Not like they could really gather many resources in such a toxic place that's so uninhabitable. So they just sent one. And then that wiped out the dinosaurs with the impact. And then Adam and Eve. Boom. That's how they arrived here. From that pod, or from evolution that came from said pod's inhabitants. Seriously though, there could have been life on Mars, but then it screwed up Mars so badly that it became uninhabitable. Maybe they sent life to Earth, or maybe they just died on Mars, because they didn't figure out how to colonize that planet in time, because they were too much like us, with too little of benefits. Yeah. So increase your bone density and muscle mass while you can. When life is no longer sustainable for farming, and you can't get any food, your body's got plenty of muscle and bone that it can use to sustain itself. And on top of that, if you just eat in general, you can store up some calories, so that your body has actual energy that isn't harvested from cells that it cannibalized out of tissue. So go to the gym whenever your local gym opens up. Even if it doesn't open up, you could still order weights. Barbells, dumbbells, bench pressing table. Is it called table? Or you could just run. And if you have a yard that's a hill, then you could get legs like this. Legs that have stuff on them. Not legs of a bird. Legs that you can continue to move using them, despite that you collapsed while running with the same legs. Yeah, just work out. You'll thank me in the future. If you even remember me.